formation of word nostalgia is coming from two Greek words, and I currently learn Greek language, so for me it was even a bit exciting. So those two words are nostos and algos, where nostos is translating as homecoming and algos as pain or longing. At the first place, it was invented by a Swiss medical student. At times, as I remember, it was like 1611. At times, it was considered a medical illness. The symptoms were sadness, insomnia, heart palpitations, and fever. I'm a little bit too close to the mic, and I'm afraid, to breathe like a lot heavy, so you have very hard sounds. So it's a little bit unnatural for me. So yeah, it was invented by a Swiss medical student in his dissertation, and they were thinking that that was happen. So basically, it was happening with the soldiers that were away from their homes, and they experienced these symptoms that I said, like sadness, insomnia, heart palpitations, and fever. And it all went away once they sent them back home. So that's the reason why the illness at that time had that name. And yeah, so later on, by the 19th century, this term expanded beyond a clinical diagnosis as it was in the first place, and it came to describe a general longing for the past. So it's not just geographical longing, so you're not just missing a geographical place, but it is a longing for the past in general. And also at that times, romantic writers and poets began to use it in a more metaphorical and emotional sense in their texts and poems. Afterwards, by the 20th century, it became associated with sentimental yearning, like for the childhood lost times, or as people say, the good old days. So, yeah, nostalgia as a term changed from being a disease to becoming just a sentimental state that all of us experience. Another nice fact that I found is about the French novelist and literature critic Marcel Proust. In one of his epic novels, I haven't really read it, but I really found this fact nice. search of lost time. He had a song named Madeline Moment, where the narrator dips a Madeline, which is a small shaped sponge cake, into a cup of lime blossom tea, and the taste of it unexpectedly triggers a flood of memories from his childhood. And I think that this is a very interesting fact. I myself feel a lot of emotional connection with scents. Mostly scents. Sometimes it's taste, but scents are just killing me sometimes. And the interesting thing is that I can feel the scent and I can't really realize what is the moment that it gives, like that I remember, but I can remember the emotional state I was in, and I can really feel this emotion, which is actually crazy for me. It's like, you don't understand what it is, but you feel it, and it's kind of beautiful. Yeah, and basically now I'm an immigrant, and the nostalgia is quite an often feeling that comes when you're an immigrant, especially when you have some sense or taste that you had in your country, because it's rare. Usually it's rare in the country that you moved in, and that brings a lot of feelings and emotions. So another thing that I wanted to explain to you, it calls reminiscence bump, and that is that goes approximately between your 15 and 30 years of age, and that's the time that is linked to the formation of the self-identity. And those kind of memories, they tend to be those that we are most nostalgic for. So what I feel is, because I moved when I was 27, and or was I 28? I think I was 27. And of course we're saying that years are approximate in this reminiscence bump. Still, I feel like this kind of identity formation, I also also feel that important thing here is how we experience nostalgia, because it could be positively used as a therapy, reflection of meaningful memories. It can really reduce loneliness and anxiety, because remembering who we were helps us feel grounded in who we are now. Thinking about past challenges, it can remind us that we have basically overcame difficulties before. Now, artists such as musicians, filmmakers, writers, and many more, they often channel nostalgia to make art, and it shows up beautifully. In certain stressful times, we can turn to nostalgia for comfort, like rewatching old shows, playing childhood games, revisiting familiar places or foods, eating familiar foods in familiar places. As I just explained about this Madeline cake, it brings us emotional safety and stability. And this is kind of a positive side of nostalgia, a positive side that nostalgia gives us. However, while focusing on the positive side, we should remember that there are also kind of thing as obsessive nostalgia that can be really harmful. And I can tell you about it from the experience of mine. So it can basically get you to a place where you avoid present by digging too much into the past. Over romanticization of the past can lead to dissatisfaction of the current moment, and you can occasionally get into the loop, stuck in on longing for how it was instead of processing what is happening to you now and healing. I would say it's a bit hard for me still to talk about it, but I think I got out of the loop. And I also wanted to say that being in all of those states is completely normal. It's like, yeah, it's really is completely normal. It's nice to realize where you are though, and do what's better for you out of there. Try not to judge yourself. Judgment never helps. Try to understand where you are and why you are there, and what are the smallest, tiniest steps that you can take to move forward toward the life that you desire. Okay. I some stories about your nostalgia if you feel like sharing. And we will see and hear each other soon.